Manifesto for a dreamer, artist, and life coach. These are interesting times. Our whole world is effectively being held hostage by a virus, and our responses have been varied. There are those who spread disinformation or take advantage of the fear that the coronavirus creates. I've heard conspiracy theories from some about bioweapons and cures already existing. There's been talk of breaking the West so that they, in quotations, can create the one world order. Some are in denial. It's just a hoax, or it's just fear-mongering. Or others in outright defiance, licking the walls of their holy shrines because if they show devotion to their God, he will surely protect them. These responses seem crazy, stupid even, but they're all a way for people to deal with this time of fear and not really knowing or understanding perhaps what will happen. Fear is a legitimate response as the death toll mounts and businesses close. The threat to our collective vision of the economy is real. And we are told to stay home. No congregation for a humanity that has survived by congregating and supporting one another. Other more positive responses call for hope. Perhaps this virus has something to teach us. A friend of mine said it felt like a paradigm shift, and I've heard the term reset button numerous times in the media and social media. Voices are saying that this could be a time for us to make changes to the way we exist in the world. Indeed, it is a time when many labors are stilled. People are sent home, are laid off, or work from home so they have extra time that they would normally spend commuting. Children and teens are home from school, and I would imagine for the most of them, learning ceases for a time. It is a time to relax, if you can get past the worry, play, and maybe do some daydreaming. And that brings me to my question to you. What would you do if we all used this time to daydream about a better world? What would we come up with? What would your perfect world look like? Do we want to turn back towards each other and build stronger communities to share each other's loads? Do we want to learn to be kinder to ourselves and each other? What values would we like to see in our societies? Loving kindness, humility, self-sufficiency, integrity, or compassion? What would that look like? What would we have to do to make some of these changes? What do we want our institutions to look like? To whom do we want to give our power? Do we want to support institutions that give all of our power to faceless corporations that hoard their wealth rather than give it back to the tongue twister, to the societies that they subsist on? Or do we want to see a more equitable society, where at the very least everyone has enough to eat and a roof over their heads? Perhaps more workers could be allowed to work from home so that congested highways could be less so, and the CO2 levels not so impacted. Maybe we can envision what a Green New Deal would really look like. And folks, this is where my woo-woo, if you like, comes out. Because I have a belief that what we think about and give most of our attention to does manifest in different ways. Partially because what we think about, we often act on. However, I also believe that there is a force or a power, God, universal energy, whatever you want to call it, that acts upon our most dearly held wishes, beliefs, and dreams. I've heard some scientific evidence towards this belief, although I admit I can't quote you any studies right now. There's also biblical acceptance of this idea. Ask, and it will be given to you. Seek, and you will find. Knock, and the door will be opened unto you. Sound familiar? Well, I believe that verse is referring to the fact that our thoughts, wishes, and beliefs can be manifested when they get proper attention. In any case, in keeping with this belief, I want to put a challenge out to all of you. Find your vision for something better within your heart and take one small step. Find the smallest step you can and take it towards this vision. Then, if you are able, take another. Keep going. Cycle, rinse, repeat. By now, many of you are wondering how on earth this relates to art. Well, we as artists have a role to play in this too. You see, artists are the greatest visionaries. We point out to others different visions of our world. Sometimes we need people to see the horror so that a thing can be changed. And sometimes we need people to see the beauty so that they can be reminded of the goodness in this world. So how do we as artists respond to this very crucial time in our world? First of all, we must keep making art. It can be inspirational, it can be a call to arms, or it can simply be a vision of a beautiful world. Your art is your interpretation of or vision for the world, be it small and cute, large and abstract, political, or humorous. Second of all, make art that expresses you as much as possible. No one but you can create the vision you have in your heart. The more your art is like you, the more beautiful it will be. And I'm not the only one that says this. Your voice matters, and it is your personal gift to the world. Third, if you feel called, make art that responds in some way to the viral crisis, or perhaps another crisis that is important to you. Conversely, make art about the way you want the world to be. And lastly, don't forget to share your art with the world. This can be a vulnerable thing to do, but the world also needs more people who are willing to be vulnerable to show the way for others to feel safe to do so as well. As for myself, I want to hold a vision for a better world in my art. I want to remind you that there is beauty and playfulness and joy and inspiration in the world. I want my art to make room for curiosity, vulnerability, and laughter, because I want us all to be safe enough in our societies to feel these things without fear of reprisal or judgment. It's funny because while I love my art and I find a lot of joy in the creation and the outcomes I get, I always wondered if that was a good enough excuse sort of to do that kind of creating or artwork. I always thought maybe I should have some bigger message or a political stance within my creations. But I have realized now that what I am is a vision keeper. A vision keeper. To me, it is an important duty and one for which I have suffered. This also brings me to the question of why I became a life coach. While art is very fulfilling to me, it isn't quite enough. Because mostly I want to give back too. I wanted to find a way to support other people in the manifestation of their dreams, because I do believe that everyone can find the way within themselves to make their lives better. And the style of coaching that I have studied under suits me perfectly because it encourages the visioning process within the client and creates the space for the much needed changes to happen. Having experienced being coached in the activation method, I can vouch for the subtle inner changes that have brought a new expansiveness to my life. And I want this for everyone. There have been times in my life that I realized I might be called a Pollyanna for my stubborn belief that we can do better and be better as a society. I know others out there that see the world the same way. We stand up and disturb the shit. We speak truth to power. We refuse to take the answer, "It's always been this way," for good enough. We create beauty when others want us to be afraid or to break our belief in the good. This last Christmas, I had a bit of an epiphany. I felt called at that time to hold a vision for a better world. And it is my belief that we are all now being called to do this visioning work. In the words of another wiser bard than me, "You may say I'm a dreamer, but I'm not the only one. I hope someday you'll join us and the world will live as one." And in case you didn't recognize that, that was John Lennon from his song Imagine in 1971. Namaste. Hey everyone. I know this might be a hard time for you. I hope you are all safe and well. And if you're a frontline worker or somebody on the job, helping in the healthcare system, just trying to keep food on everybody's plates, whatever it is you're doing out there in this crazy time, I want to express how thankful I am for you. I have also decided that one of my small steps towards a better world at this time is to offer free mini coaching sessions to those that need an ear to listen. You can simply talk to get what you need off your chest, or if you'd like, we can work on one small strategy just to improve your life a little bit. If you'd like to take me up on this, please email me at brenda@blueseedstudio.com. That's brenda@blueseedstudio.com. All one word. Wishing you all the best and sending my love. Brenda.